Oh no! I've run out of the air dry paper clay, so I'm going to have a go at seeing if I can make some with some old newspaper. Now, I have seen this done a lot with toilet roll, and it works really, really well, but I don't want to waste the toilet roll because these newspapers are quite old. My mum collects them up for me, and so I want to try and recycle them. If that works, I'm going to be really happy. But I need to break up all the fibres in this paper, so all I'm doing is ripping up the paper and putting it into a bowl. I've also got some hot water that I'm going to soak these in. Now, unlike toilet paper, these are going to take a lot more time to actually break down the fibres, and that's why I'm using hot water. I may have to put some more in there, and I'll probably leave these in there soaking for at least a couple of hours, if not a little bit longer. So that should be more than enough paper in there. And I will weigh that once I've taken the water out of it. But what I'm also going to add to this while it is soaking is just a tiny bit of bleach. This is a lemon flavoured bleach. It doesn't really matter what flavour it is. The reason I'm adding the bleach to it is because there is constantly, wherever we are in the world, mould spores that are floating around in the air. And if I don't use this all in one go, then there is a likelihood that this could go mouldy. And I don't want it to go mouldy. And the bleach should kill any mould spores that are in there and prevent that happening. And I'll leave that in there to soak now. Look how foggy that's made everything. Oh dear. Well, this has been soaking in here for a couple of hours, and as you can see, it's quite nicely broken up. Now, I have also been stirring this. That has helped tremendously. And what I need to do now is squeeze out quite a bit of the water, but I don't want to squeeze it out so it's really clumped up like that, because all that's going to do is push those fibres together again, and I don't want that to happen, because if not, I'm not going to be able to mix in the rest of my ingredients. Kind of like that, so it's still spread apart and opened up. I'm sure you could probably put this through a sieve, but it's just nice and warm and easy to get out. So I've got 463 grams of the squeezed out pulp, and you can see how kind of squeezed it out. I haven't overdone it so that it's all really tight, but there is still adequate, I hope, amount of water in there to be able to turn it into some paper mache. So the next ingredient that I want to put in there is some PVA glue or white glue, and I buy it in quite large bottles because I use so much of it all the time. So that's 220 grams of the PVA glue. I'm also going to add a tiny bit, just half a capful of glycerin into that as well, in the hope that that is going to help it stay nice and smooth. Now, they would normally, in the Victorian times, they put linseed oil in it, but I don't want to be using linseed oil. And now, I've got some joint filler compound here. I'm going to put in the same amount of this as I did the PVA glue, so 220 grams. And on top of that, I'm also going to put in some corn flour. I'm going to put in 100 grams of that. Now what I'm going to do is get my kitchen mixer. I'm going to be in trouble, but what people don't know won't hurt them, will it? But before I do that, I'm actually going to mix that in a little bit so that it's not... I stole this out of the kitchen as well. So it's not all powder, because I think if it's all powder, it's going to go everywhere. So now what I'm going to do is turn this on low and just give this a really good mix. Probably for about 5 minutes until I feel it's all mixed in lovely. It does feel a little dry, and it's probably all the dry ingredients that I've put into it. So before I go any further, I am going to add some more PVA glue, because I think that's too dry. I'm going to add another 100 grams of PVA. Oh yeah, I think that's better. Well, I've given that a really good mix, and it feels like a lovely consistency. It maybe is a little wetter than the stuff that you buy, but then you don't know how long that's been hanging around. And what I'm going to do is put that into a nice airtight tub. I'll probably put a bit of cling plastic on the top of that as well, and then put the lid on it to try and keep that as fresh as possible. Now I'm making this little gnome doorstop, and this video will be out soon, and this is what I want this for. Before I go ahead and make a claim that I've just done a lovely recipe, I'm going to put some on this little hat and see how it smooths really nicely. And if you want to smooth it a little bit more, then all you need to do is put a little bit of water on your knife or whatever you're using and smooth it over very gently like that, almost like plastering. Look. Now this isn't going to dry white because it's been made with newspapers, and I'm only putting a very thin layer on this, really just to smooth it all out at this moment in time and to see how hard it dries and to see whether it's worked. We've not really lost much if it hasn't. I hope it has, because it will save me a fortune. So I'll carry on, I'll cover this up, and then once it's dry, or if it doesn't dry, I'll let you know, but if it is dry, then I'll show you what it looks like at the end of this. Well, this is all nice and dry now. So far, it's looking really good. It has dried like a brick. And it isn't too bad off. I think that's nice and smooth. I'm going to use just to see what it sands like. And this is just a medium sandpaper. Just to see if I could sand it if I need to. And it sands okay. It sands absolutely fine. Oh, that is lovely and smooth. And I only put a really thin layer on that. I'm really pleased with that, I have to say. And now the best thing is going to see if it keeps well, and we'll know that because in about a week or so's time, I'm hopefully going to have time to finish this off, and you'll see that video. That'll be coming up soon. And once I go to finish this off, if the clay's working okay, then we'll be able to see. So overall, I think the clay has worked really, really well. Please let me know in the description below how you make your clay, or if you've made clay, or if you have a recipe for paper clay. It would be really helpful. Boop that like button if you've enjoyed this video, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. It really does help my channel. And if you'd like to buy me a coffee, or you want to know where I get anything from, the links for that are in the description below. Take care, enjoy your crafting. Bye.